name is Caroline, and today I'm going to be teaching some intermediate fan tricks. These tricks are all very wrist heavy. You should have flexible wrists to be able to do these, so it's always good to get a nice wrist warm up in before you start. Make sure you roll your wrists out, stretch them up, down, however you need to get them flexible before we begin. The first trick I want to work on is not only wristy, it is also thummy. It is called a 3-beat weave, and it involves a thumb roll in addition to the motion of a 2-beat weave. So if you're familiar with the 2-beat weave, it is the pattern from going shoulder down to waist, up to shoulder, and down to opposite waist. So it's always shoulder, opposite waist, shoulder, opposite waist. So the 2-beat weave looks like this. A 3-beat weave is combining that concept of shoulder, waist, with a thumb roll and a switch of the arm that's on top each time you go to either side of your body. So the 3-beat weave looks like this. Or from the front angle. So this skill is learned by first training your thumb rolls individually. So I'm going to put one fan down, and I'm going to put that arm out, and the thumb that is doing the thumb roll is always the hand that is on top as you're weaving, and you're going to release into the thumb roll as you come across to the opposite side of your body. So if I'm using my right hand, it's as I go across to the left side of my body. On the downswing, I'm going to release the fan, and as I do that, I'm going to stick my thumb out straight so that it spins around on just my thumb. If this is a little bit challenging for you, you can take your thumb just out to the side and try to practice just spinning it on your thumb, both hands, to get used to the weight of the fan on your thumb, the feeling of the fan spinning on your thumb, etc. So it's good to practice in both directions with both hands, since we're going to be using both hands in this move anyways. And once your thumbs are feeling pretty good, try to work on that cross across your body, slipping your thumb in and releasing your fingers up, straight up towards the ceiling as you let the fan spin around one time before re-grabbing on your handle. Now, as you can see, I'm using Russian grip fans that have a bigger grip. You can do this move on the doodle grip or tech grip. However, the smaller the ring, the harder this is to accomplish, because the less time you have to complete that thumb roll. Because you can imagine, once the hole's smaller, you don't have as much space for a thumb roll. So Russian grip is ideal when you're trying to learn the 3-beat weave, but don't get discouraged if you have tech fans, because it can be done on those as well. So you're going to practice with the arm underneath, so you can get used to going over and releasing into the thumb roll. And then once you've gotten that down, you're going to work on switching the other arm on top. So you want to remember, the arm that's on bottom is going to go under, scoop back, and then over and land on top of the other one. And this is happening as you're doing the thumb roll. So you're going to release it as you start to move the other arm, and it's going to come across at the same time you're catching it. And so this is important, because the timing of this is what makes it 3 beats. So the beats are 1 across the body, 2 thumb roll, 3 re-grab, or 3 switch arms, however you prefer to view it. So we're going to practice that on both sides, starting with the arm on the bottom, making sure we have the thumb roll down as we come across our body. And after we've gotten that down, we're going to add in the arm switch. And after we've gotten the arm switch and the thumb roll down on both sides, we're going to try to combine these two. So you're going to start the same way you start in a 2-beat weave. Just get your 2-beat weave going. And whatever arm is on top in your 2-beat weave will be the arm that starts the 3-beat weave. So as you come across to the opposite side of your body, that thumb is going to be out and your fingers are going to be up as you swing the other arm over your body, and immediately start the thumb roll on the opposite side. So from the side, that looks like this. And as you're swinging your arm up and over, you're thumb rolling with the other hand. So The arm that starts the thumb roll becomes the bottom hand as soon as you swing the arm over. And you can continue this 3-beat weave as long as you would like, because you are always alternating the arm that's on top, which is pretty cool because in the 2-beat weave, the same arm is always on top. You can do both sides as far as using the other arm on top, but it's not quite the same as getting to switch the arm that's on top every time. So if you're struggling with this, try to really exaggerate that arm over motion. Seems to help a lot of my students. And really practice that thumb roll as you do the big swing. It'll give you more time to figure out where you need to go and get you used to switching the arm each time. So that is the 3-beat weave. I am going to show it on the tech fans just so you can get an idea. It can be done, but it's a little harder depending on the size of your circle. These circles are a bit smaller, as you can see. I believe they're the 2-inch ones from Forge Creations, and I hold mine with a pistol grip, meaning 3 fingers are inside the hole. 1 finger, my index finger, is out, and my thumb is out. And so, it's a little bit harder to get the thumb in because the index finger stays pointing out while you do this. But it looks like this. And from the side, this one I have found is easier if you try to keep your wrists as close together as possible because you already have such limited time due to the ring size. So I would highly recommend, if this is a skill you're learning for the very first time, start on Russian grips and work your way down in size. The bigger the grip, the easier this one will be to learn. And if you're really struggling, double hula hoops is a great way to learn as well. They have a little bit more consistent of a weight, and the method is exactly the same. It's the arm on top, and you thumb roll on either side and switch the arm with each pass. So give it a try. Let me know what you think of these 3-beat weaves and if this was helpful. The next move I would like to teach is a waist wrap. Now, these waist wraps are a little weird because you have to make sure your thumbs are always facing each other, which is a little strange because we're going to be going on our back wheel plane and our back wall plane, and our front wall plane. So you might want to tie 2 of your wicks together. That is a method I use to help my students keep these 2 ends touching, but you don't ever want this one to pass in front of this one. You want them to be touching right next to each other, one following the other, always, not passing in front of the other. And it also really helps if you have covers with 2 different colors, because in this move, you only want to see one of the colors. You never want to flip to the other side. If you flipped your hand, you have done the move wrong, and it's very hard to tell if you flipped your hand if you don't have covers with colors on either side. So you're going to take your fans, you're going to bring your thumbs together, you're going to kiss those wicks, and you're going to bring the fans behind your back. So when they're behind my back, you can see my silver covers. I'm going to first pull up towards my shoulder. So the first part of this weave, this waist wrap, is going to be up towards my shoulder. So I'm using my elbow to pull it up towards my shoulder, behind my back, and I'm going to do 3/4 of a rotation, really, to come back to my front. I'm going to go up, over, and back. And once I come back, my thumbs are still facing each other, but my palms are facing the front. And the hand that is on top is the hand of the side I just came from behind the back of. Once I'm here, I'm going to flip my hands in a full circle so that my other hand is on top. And then I'm going to go towards that side by pushing up with that original hand, and the other one's going to follow, and I'm going to go up towards my shoulder to start, and then push down. So I'm coming back down by the bottom of the side of my waist, and upon doing this, my wrists have uncrossed. And so now my thumbs are still facing each other. You're still seeing the silver side. Just done the portion of the weave behind the back on the other side of my body. I'm going to rainbow back over, right back to behind my back on the first side. So you do a weave, a circle, a weave, and a rainbow. And when done successfully, it looks like this. And you should only be able to see one color of your colored covers. If you can see both sides at any point, you are not doing the move correctly. So try to take a video, break down, make sure your thumbs are always facing each other, see if you can figure out where you're flipping your hand. That's usually the issue, and it's usually involving people not hiking up towards their shoulder when they start, or not pushing up towards their shoulder and back down when they come to the other side. So clean it up, and as you clean it up, you can get looser with your wicks so they look like they're more 180 from each other instead of kissing, but you never want this one to be in front of the other. A lot of people rush it and then it doesn't look like too much of a move. You want to really make sure one is following behind the other so they move fluidly around your waist. So that is a waist wrap. Hope you enjoyed that tutorial. The next move I want to show you is a little bit harder and involves some shoulder flexibility. So I would like you to stretch your pecs and your shoulders a little bit before we get started, as your posture is going to be very important in this next weave, which is a behind the back weave. I'm going to use my Russian fans for this. I think it's a little bit easier. And I am going to be coming behind my back. We're going to start with one fan. So you have one fan in your hand. You're going to bring it behind your back. You want your arm just as far over as you can get it comfortably. If you need to stretch your pec to make sure you can comfortably bend your arm behind your back, please do so. But you want to make sure you can get your hand so at least the fingers are on the other side of your waist. And once you get into this position, you're going to position your feet so that the foot that is in front is the side that has the fan behind the back. This will allow you to turn your shoulders, and suddenly you have a lot more clearance. So turning the shoulders back and forth will give you a lot of wiggle room to play with how flexible your wrists need to be for this. And you're going to take the fan behind your back. I'm going to flip my thumb to the ground so my palm is facing forward, and from here I'm going to push the fan up towards my face, towards the center of my body, and then behind my back. So I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to go behind my back, and then I'm going to come back. So I'm using that same push up, push down, pass on either side of the body, but I'm using my arm behind my back and my thumb mainly to control where it's going, using a little bit of turn in the hip and shoulder to give me more clearance to pass on the front side. So once you've gotten it pretty clean with just one fan in your hand, you can incorporate the other fan. And what you need to remember is that first fan, the one we start with behind our back, is the one leading the way of the weave. So the other hand follows right behind it, and you just want to start the same way, pulling them up towards your face, towards your center, and out towards your shoulder, and then behind your back. So as you can see, it's a little harder for me because I didn't have the proper foot position. So make sure your feet are one in front of the other, and you can turn with that shoulder to guide you, and push forward and backwards, following the fan that's not behind your back, right behind the fan that is. That's the last intermediate move that I have to teach you. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial of 3-beat weaves, waist straps, and behind the back weaves. Hope this helps.